Joey's got something special to share with us today, so what have you got, Joey?
I have a brand new TC Icon, and it's chambered in 243.
Oh, that's a pretty rifle. And the only thing better than a brand new rifle is two brand new rifles. And this is my brand new TC Icon, chambered in 243. All right, Joey, let's show everybody what we've got here.
All right, well, let's get it unwrapped.
It's a good looking rifle.
It is. Something I've been looking for. So
yeah,
for me, it's a great thing.
For a while.
Yeah, for a long time. Won't you unwrap yours?
I was gonna say, I like his so much that I can't wait to see what mine looks like. And I don't like pointing the muzzle at you. Thankfully, there's no bolt in it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty safe.
Yeah.
They come with the bolt out, so I think we're good.
Yes.
The safety people won't get us.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great.
Both of them. What we've got here is, what's the serial number on yours?
4804.
All right, mine's 5211. So these aren't exactly matching, but
they're really close.
They're really close, and we bought both of these brand new at the same time from the same place.
That's exactly right.
But that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it was something that was special that we could find something like this to do together.
Right.
You know, I mean,
project we could work on together, and this is a rifle you've been looking for a long time.
Yeah, we kind of chuckled about it when I opened the box and seen a DVD taped to the lid. You know, that tells you kind of the date of these rifles. But I've been looking for one for probably at least, I'm going to say 12 years probably. You know, I've always liked the design. I've always liked the 60-degree bolt. You know, I've always liked the scope mounts being machined into the receiver.
Yeah, and the TC Icon, okay, yeah, been around for a while. These didn't come out yesterday, but this was a rifle that we were both impressed with when they came out. I think everybody that was into rifles at that time were impressed with these, or at least it got everybody's attention, because Thompson Center really stepped it up on these rifles.
They did, and they promoted it too at the time. I mean, you could see it about any hunting channel you looked at. They were promoting it, but not only were they promoting it, but if you just look at the thought that went into this compared to what may have went into something else, they put a lot of thought into it, and they put a lot into a rifle to give you a quality platform.
Right. They were trying to build a target grade factory rifle.
Yeah, basically like a target grade hunting rifle is what I would say.
A target grade factory hunting rifle.
Yeah, and they built this, what I consider a little bit ahead of their time. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
They were definitely ahead of their time, and as far as target grade hunting rifle, that's what the Winchester Model 70 was advertised as when it was first introduced in 1935.
And when we get into a little bit of the features, we'll understand why it was a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah, right. Let's go ahead and look at the features.
First of all, the feature that you can't see is this has an aluminum bedding block, but it's in the wood. You know, it's not made into it, but it's set into it.
I'll break this rifle open in just a minute, and we'll take a look at it.
And we also have a 60-degree bolt. As you can see, Tom's there. Mine is right here, and it's jeweled. I mean, a really good-looking 3-lug bolt.
It's a big bolt.
It is a big bolt.
It's beefy.
But it is a very good bolt. You know, and it's got that 60-degree throw, which he knows I'm a fan of. I used to hunt with Brownings a lot, so that's, you know, one of the things.
Full disclosure, first rifle I've ever owned 60-degree bolt throw.
Yeah, I've owned quite a few. But it had that spoon handle bolt, or I don't know exactly how you would classify it. That's what I classify it as.
Butter knife style bolt handle. That was a thing with the Thompson Centers. With the Icon.
Yeah, and it was great style, and then it gave a throwback to the old days. Some of the older rifles had that style bolts.
And it was a nice touch.
It was thoughtful.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's another one of the things, like we said, they put some thought into it. They just didn't make a rifle and put a great barrel on it and throw it out there.
Right.
It has a recessed target crown, which I think is great.
Right.
You know, that's another thing. It has a detachable magazine. It's just a box magazine. You know, it's single stack magazine.
It's got the integral bases, Weaver style bases.
Correct.
That you mentioned.
And it also has what I thought is kind of unique. It has a safety that is a 3-position safety, but it's a 2-style safety design.
2 levers.
Yep, it has 2 levers on it, and you can pull it all the way back. You know, it's safe. It won't manipulate the bolt. You can put it in the middle. It'll manipulate the bolt but won't fire. And then when you push them both to red, they're ready to let it loose.
So it's a 3-position safety, but it's got 2 levers.
The walnut on both of these is really good. It has some good checkering in it. Nice designing on the checkering. It doesn't really resemble any checkering that I know of. I don't know if you've seen any with that styling. You've probably seen more than I have, but I don't remember any with that styling.
That's a very unique style.
And so that helps you distinguish that right off the bat.
Yeah. 2-panel checkering. Looks like 22 lines per inch. So, yeah, really good checkering. Probably 20.
They have a really decent trigger. I won't say it's match grade by any means, but it's...
And they're fully adjustable.
And they are adjustable.
Let me try this trigger.
For a hunting rifle, I don't think you'll get much better than that. Now, you get into some competition stuff, right, that's totally different.
You start getting into a Timony or something, but there's no creep in that trigger
whatsoever. And they have a really deep bluing. You know, looking at it right up close, you know, it's really deep. It's almost like it's a gloss, but it's not matte, but it's not gloss. It's not like a high gloss. It's like a satin or something.
And that's what they did with the walnut also. It's a nice satin finish.
Yeah, and it gives it what I consider that classic look, and, you know, which we're both a fan of.
Right.
So I think, you know, you got your 1-piece receiver. You know, not many people are doing that nowadays.
With the integral bases already machined into the receiver, this is what you would expect on a high-end custom receiver now. So,
and me personally, with the Weaver style bases, which is what I like to use, you know, Ruger's got theirs machined into their receiver, but it's proprietary. You can only use Ruger rings.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I can put Weaver rings on it. I can put, you know, other rings that I can buy on it. I don't have to stick to one. Just say we happen to go to our local gun shop here and I wanted to put a scope on this, which we're going to do. And they didn't have the rings that I wanted, and I had to go with something else. At least I have that option.
And they've got different slots here, so you can put your rings in different places.
And that's going to help you get your scope where it needs to be for you.
Right.
And each person's different. So I've always liked the Icon logo being machined in the side. I know that has nothing to do with the rifle. It's just something that stuck with me when I seen it years ago.
Looking at it from the top, it has a nice symmetrical look to it. It's kind of unique, that big flat side at an angle here.
One thing I noticed right off the bat, just gripping the rifle, when I put my hand here, I noticed that the trigger guard is metal. It's not plastic. I can feel it. It's actually metal instead of plastic. You know, I got some old Remingtons that had a plastic trigger guard. First thing you're gonna do is, if you ever torque it down, you've cracked it. I mean, it's you order aftermarket metal trigger guard.
go ahead and replace it.
Yeah, and you're good.
And something on the bolt handle too. A lot of people did not like that traditional butter knife style bolt handle. So you could actually change the bolt handle on this. So it's not a one-piece bolt and bolt handle. They include a special tool in the box that you can take the bolt open, the handle pulls out, and they made one with a traditional ball.
Yeah, it had just a ball. It was still the silver, the bright silver, but it had the ball.
But yeah, you could swap the bolt handles, and it's pretty unique. You don't see that too much.
And it's nice that they gave you the tool. It's not something you had to go buy extra.
Right.
So to me, that's thinking ahead, and that's stuff like this is taking care of your customer, because they don't have to buy extra stuff to work on what they got.
Right. All right, so let me grab some tools and we'll take these down and see what we've got here. And here's the aluminum bedding block in these.
And take a look at the receiver. It actually has 3 recoil lugs that actually sit in that aluminum bedding block.
So this isn't pillar bedded. It's actually a flat aluminum plate with the square recesses for the 3 recoil lugs in the plate.
And what I find interesting about that is these 2 pieces, if you know machining, like that's some of our past history, they're going to lock together. I mean, right. And you know, they're like 2 pieces that are made. They're a male and a female, and they're made to lock together.
And what this is going to do is it prevents you from having to bed to action. That's all.
That's right.
And we've also got fully adjustable trigger here.
And you have a 24-inch barrel, and it's a sporter weight barrel. And so you're going to be able to maximize your velocity out of that 243, which is what you want.
Right, that's critical on 243.
It's very critical. I mean, I've shot one for years.
So they definitely put a lot of thought into this rifle.
Absolutely, 100%.
It has some features in it that, in 2007, this was definitely ahead of its time.
And we both love it because it's a throwback to the traditional style.
They added the new design features at the same time that they made a really good looking traditional hunting rifle.
Absolutely.
Something else interesting that came with these rifles is a photocopy of the actual targets where they test fired the rifles at the factory.
Yeah, and what I thought was highly interesting, if you look at the dates on these targets, mine was 11/6/2007.
And mine was 11/13/2007.
So these rifles were only a few days apart being test fired. And they actually fired a 3-shot group, which, you know, you have a rifle every once in a while that's test fired with 1 shot. It doesn't really tell you much, but on these, we get to see a group, actually. And I think it's pretty neat to go into what Tom's did and what this one did.
And it's not just a group. It's, okay, they fired 100 grain Hornady boat-tail soft points, and mine printed a 550 thousandths 3-shot group.
And mine did a 810 thousandths 3-shot group, so a little over 3/4 of an inch. And this was test fired, by the way, at 100 yards.
Right.
So, you know,
these are both sub-MOA rifles from the factory.
It's nothing. They were just test firing up close, you know, getting a good group. Which the features in this rifle, I think, is some of the reasons that you got a 1/2-inch group on this paper.
Right. We've got 24-inch barrels, and they were trying for max grade barrels. And yeah, so the features on here paid off, and it wasn't just the features in the rifle. They also came out with a new cartridge for these rifles, which is pretty innovative for the time.
And it was really innovative, in my opinion, for the times. I mean, but they were smart. They kept it in a 30 caliber cartridge, and it was the 30 TC,
which was the parent case for the 6.5 Creeple.
Absolutely. So it was one of those things where they kept with the old and brought a new cartridge in, but they stayed with that 30 caliber because, as we all know, for years and years and years, 30 caliber was America's cartridge. Right. I mean, you have people that love 270, but there's a lot of 30 calibers out there for years.
And Okay, the 30 TC, it didn't take off. Obviously, the 6.5 Creedmoor did, and it just necked down the 30 TC case, put 6.5 bullet in it.
And I think they learned something with that. And I think it was the marketing aspect, because they started marketing heavy when these came out for the 30 TC cartridge,
Right.
but not as heavy as they did when the 6.5 Creedmoor came out.
So we're pretty excited about these rifles, and to find two brand new in the box 2007 rifles, that's pretty neat.
Right at 16 years old.
Right at 16 years old. And keep this in mind too, a lot of people misuse the term new in the box. New in the box does not mean that a rifle hasn't been fired before and there's the box. It means nobody has bought the rifle before. The retailer still has the rifle. So we were the first ones to buy these rifles from the retailer, and that's pretty interesting.
It was, and it was a pawn shop in our region where I happened to find these at, and I frequent them from time to time when I go buy them for work. And
shout out to them.
It's Rich's Jury and Pawn. I seen these in a case, and it was a wooden gun cabinet that was locked, and you had to get the guy. He'd come unlock it, and you could handle them and look at them. And you know, I've been looking for one, so when I seen them, it was like, man, you know, I've actually found a gem here. And I'm like, that day I didn't purchase them. I walked away because I already had two 243s at that, you know. So I was like, you know, do I really need another one? But as time goes on, I get to thinking about them, and I know they're still sitting there, and I'm like, man, I need to go back by there. But I still didn't. I said, well, the next time I pass by there, I'll go in there. Well, I go in there, and lo and behold, they're still behind the glass, just like it was meant to be. And so I went outside, and I got in the truck, and I called Tom, and I said, well, Tom, you know, they got two of these rifles up here, and they're identical rifles. And I said, you know, they're a good price. You know, naturally they've been sitting there a while, so you can imagine the price keeps coming down probably, right, you know, repeatedly to try to get rid of them.
And the reason they were still there is because they're in 243.
Yeah, and we've talked about it in the past. Some people have a mental block on 243. I don't, you know, but some people do, and I understand that. Right. I get it.
A lot of people think 243 is just not enough for deer. I promise you it is. And this is my first 243 I've ever owned. But I've seen him drag enough deer that I know it works.
Yeah, and it's confidence, so I got confidence in the cartridge. I do. I've had it since I was a teenager, and yep, killing deer with it since I was a teenager.
Never lost a deer with it.
And so there's a lot for me into that. So it never bothered me that they were chambered in 243. It never even crossed my mind, you know, as far as, hey, I don't want it, other than I already had a couple 243s.
And with that said, okay, 243 is a fun cartridge. So there's some things we can do here. And what are you planning on doing with your rifle? I
think I'm mainly going to have this rifle set up in the beginning for deer hunting. But I think after I set it up for deer hunting and take it and harvest a few deer with it, I'm probably going to change it up. I'm probably going to have it at that point probably set up for more coyote hunting or something of that sort.
I was thinking the same thing. I can't eat deer now. Allergic to them, it sucks. But I don't mind killing some coyotes, and there's a lot of them around here that need killing. So that's my thoughts. I can't have a rifle not set up to be able to take a deer. So I plan on starting with a 100 grain bullet, you know, see what we got, come with the load, and then go to, I don't know, maybe a 90 grain, 80 grain.
I'm probably going to get down around the 70 grain mark for me. I got some bullets in mind that I really would love to try, and some powder combinations that I really would love to try because I could pump up the velocity on them.
And that's something a lot of people don't realize with the 243. That's what 243 kills with velocity.
It does.
And that 70 grain bullet, I mean, you're probably going to be around 3,800 feet per second. I mean, that's moving. And with the 100 grain bullet, around 31.
And what I want to do in the beginning is we have a baseline with Hornady's target with a 100 grain bullet, and to see the groups they got, I really want to hand load for it, because there's no doubt in my mind that we both can have one tiny ragged hole.
Right.
I mean, I feel confident in that, just seeing what we have here and seeing how well they're made and seeing the targets. With Tom already at a 1/2 inch group on his and a 3/4 inch group on mine, pretty much. I mean, you got a really good baseline. I mean, you set this up with some fine hand loads, and I think you're going to be well pleased.
I think we both are. Now for the interesting part for us. We've got two almost identical rifles, almost matching, and this gives us a unique opportunity to do some experimenting here.
I'm going to go into reloading for mine and see what I can come up with, and it'll give us a chance to see velocities against each other, and Tom will go into working up his loads, I'm sure.
I'll work up my loads.
And I'll be able to see what I can come up with, and he'll be able to see what he can come up with, and it'll be interesting for y'all to see what we both come up with. So
I think it'll be interesting for all of us.
I can't wait to get started. We're going to get after it here shortly.
And we get to do this with two rifles that they're probably not making any more Thompson Centers.
Absolutely.
Smith & Wesson bought them in 2007, which the year these rifles were made. And I believe that was the first production year for the Icons.
I think so.
That's pretty neat that we've got the first production year rifles, the year Smith & Wesson bought them, and then for whatever reason, Smith & Wesson lost interest in a really great company, and as far as I know, TC's not producing anything now.
Nope, they're not. And so it's sad, because they've been around a long time, you know, from the Contender days to muzzle loaders to the Encores to the Icons to the Ventures to the Compasses,
which were great budget rifles.
Yeah, I mean, you could get into that rifle really cheap, and it shot good. I mean, you watch videos, people got good groups out of them. I mean, for a hunting rifle.
So it's a shame to see the company go, and it's pretty special for us to know that we've got two brand new in the box TCs
and a 4-digit serial number, which, you know, that's pretty low. That's not single digits, but
right, it's low.
It's low for rifle manufacturing. And
this is going to be interesting for us to do some comparison between the two almost identical rifles. So yeah, we can't wait to get shooting on these. God bless and have a great day.